Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome, I'm Stefania. In today's video I'm gonna do a little flip through of my reading journal. So I'm gonna finally show you the pages that I've created in August. As always, I'm gonna start from the yearly pages and then I'm gonna move to the monthly pages. I've added the books that I've read in August here. August was a month with 5 books, so it wasn't that bad. Then I've updated my book log, and these are the books that I've read in August. As you can see, creating a Dutch door was a smart thing because I knew already that with only these 2 pages I wouldn't have enough space, so I'm really happy. A reading tracker. In August I managed to read a little bit each single day, and this is amazing because it's my goal each single month, and I'm really proud because I can now say that I think I can really say that I have a good habit, which is reading a little bit each single day. There have been amazing days in which I've read more than 100 pages, and then there have been some days in which I've read not even 10 pages, but that's perfectly fine. Books read. Even here the Dutch doors are really a wonderful thing. These are the 5 books that I've read in August, and as you can see, 4 of them were all part of a series, so basically I just jumped into it. My favorite book in August was Wrecked, which is the 3rd one in the 30-year series, and it was a 5 stars, so I'm gonna add it here as well. It's just I still have to print it. Monthly reads, I've added here the 5 titles. Xiamo con le streghe and Cerbero Book Club, they're both been updated because there was nothing to update. I haven't read the book that this group decided to read, and Cerbero Book Club didn't have a pick for August because there wasn't a meeting in August, there was one in September. Series tracker, I've updated it. I just have to write the 30-year series. I'm sorry, I just can't do it with this tracker. I find it extremely useful, but at the same time I just don't follow it. Bingo. I think that this month the thing that I checked was 7 books in English. Storygraph, with August I've read 41 books, and my goal is 50, so I'm more than sure that I'm gonna reach that goal this year. Other challenges, I'm not gonna even take them out because there wasn't so much to do with them. Like these 2, I think I have to give up the password challenge because I just completely ignore it. Wow, this one for title and author, I think I've updated it with only 1 title and that's it, there was nothing more. Genre tracker, this time it was a little bit different because usually the one that is, let's say, winning is always fantasy. This time it wasn't fantasy, but I'm really happy when I see some stuff a little bit different, so it's perfectly fine. TBR, I've started the month of August with 7 books, then I've added, so I've bought 1 more book. I've read 5 of them, and at the end of the month there were 3 books in my TBR. Reading stats, in August I read 5 books, and they were all physical books, 1766 pages, 31 days, 4 books in English and 1 in Italian, and as you can see it was a pretty good month because there was only 1 3 stars and up, and then all the others were higher, so amazing. And now we can move to the monthly pages. As always, the Plan With Me video is online, so you can go and check it out. I won't repeat the stats because I've just said them. In this month, for the monthly setup, I've used some stickers from Tenfold, which sadly is closing, but it was a lovely small shop that I absolutely loved. Monthly view, as you can see, there are a lot of colors, and that's because there are the 5 books that I've actually started and finished, a book that I started in August and finished in September, and then there's a non-fiction book which I read only one day, which is the same one that I started, I don't even remember when. I think I've started it months and months and months ago. And for example, I think that in July I haven't read a single page from that book. I don't know, I hope to manage to finish this freaking non-fiction before the end of the year, who knows? Reading tracker, there is nothing more to say because I've already talked about it in my yearly pages. Now I'm gonna move to the book spreads, and as always, I'm not gonna talk too much about the books because I don't want to give any spoilers, and I'm gonna try to say what I've liked and what I didn't without saying too much, which by now I can say without a doubt it's incredibly hard. I always have to cut out so many clips when I had the video because I've realized I'm like, I'm on a live walking spoiler basically, that's it. First book of the month, When Wishes Bleed, 4 stars. Let's start from the thing that if you want, there's a video in which I'm creating this spread. It's a simple one, it's not a book review, so there's just a background music and you can see me creating the setup, let's say it in this way. And the stickers that I've used are all from my Etsy shop. You can find the link in the description box if you want to. Going back to the book, I really liked it, yes, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna read the second one. I think that the real thing is that I've started this book thinking it was a standalone. I had no idea that there was a second book. And even by the ending, I was like, okay, it's like an ending that's making you think there can be another book, but there can also be perfectly fine in this way. And for me, I don't feel like I really want to read the second book because part of me is like, I'm scared it could be quite of like rereading the first one. I know it doesn't make sense because if I'm gonna explain you why, I'm gonna spoiler you the ending, which I don't want to do. But I'm not really into the idea of reading it, but who knows, maybe I will end up doing it. Who knows? I loved it, yes, and it was a wonderful book to read. Like, it wasn't that hard. It was really like you were reading what it looks like a page, instead you were reading several pages, so it definitely got me. And I really loved also the Italian version because there were some drawing inside and I was really happy about that. I love when books are well done also in the inside. I guess that there were some parts that could have been better, like more developed, I would say, but I'm okay. I understand that sometimes when you work on a book and you're expecting it to be standalone, or also, let's say this is a standalone, no, but in the second one the main character is not going to be the same one as in this book. We're not going to follow her story anymore, so I understand that you can't focus too much on several things, but at the same time I felt like some parts would have been better if they would have had more space. I definitely loved to see how fate actually works in this book, and how there is always a reason for everything, and I think if you have time this could also be a perfect read for October or November. She's a witch, and I think this is enough to say if you're obsessed with this type of reading. I definitely enjoyed it, 4 stars. And now all the other spreads are all about one single series, which is the Dirtier series. I really loved it. It's gonna be a little bit hard because I don't want to talk too much about each single book because something could come out in different ways, but let's give it a try. The first one, I loved it. 4 stars and a half. I loved reading about Maya and Noah. Yes, absolutely. I think that I quite of missed a little bit more of Noah's background, or better, I would have loved for more people to actually see his real past, what's really behind him, his problems with his family. Instead, he is this person that has the perfect picture for the public, you know? He's the one who's everybody's gonna be, it's the son of that big driver, and everybody's thinking that he has this wonderful relationship with his father, but he doesn't. Noah's dad is a bad one, like really bad. And I'm really happy that at least Maya got to see the real him, but I'm quite upset because I would have wanted more people to know exactly what was happening behind closed doors. While for Maya, I really enjoyed seeing her trying out new things, figuring out life. I think that the thing I felt the most was her trying to understand what was her path. Like, what do we want to do? She started the book with her being like, I'm just gonna take this year off to go and travel with my brother, who's a Formula 1 driver, Santiago, and then I'm gonna see whatever is gonna happen. And I'm gonna start doing some silly YouTube videos, like without putting too much. She was like doing some traveling vlogs and things like that, and she started slowly to also add more about Formula 1, so more behind the scenes, let's say. And she understood that she actually loves to do that, and I was really into that, into a woman that's in her 20s and doesn't have her life figured out and is giving a try to whatever it is, and in this case it's also something that can be a creative career, and I love that. What I couldn't stand was her brother. Like, don't get me wrong, some people might have loved Santiago. I can tell you I've hated him in this book. Like, he gave me these vibes of I am superior and she's not. He's like, I'm the one who's economically the reason why her parents are allowed to have a lovely life. I'm the one who saved all of us. While my brain is like, okay, but you never asked to do such a thing, so it's not like his parents were like, we're expecting you to go and win and give us money, and no. So I was like, okay, maybe in his story I'm gonna read more about it, but what I couldn't stand was when he actually really feels like he's more important and bigger than his sister. He's like, I have a career, what are you gonna do once this year is over? I mean, you can't keep on going around and just do videos for YouTube, you just can't. And I was so mad because I was like, what makes you think that your career is better than her? In this book, Santiago feels like he's the one with a career and everything, while his sister is just doing nothing, when actually Maya is not. I also loved all the things that went on between Noah and Maya and Santiago, like all of that part, I definitely enjoyed it as well. So I really loved it. 4 stars and a half, wonderful starting for a series. So second book, 4 stars. I have to say one thing, these are all from the same series, but at the same time they're quite of standalone, so you could read the second one without having read the first one and you would understand completely this book. At the same time, you would quite have spoiled certain things from the first book, and so goes on with the series. So if you want to read it according to me, you have to read the whole series in order, because it's really important, especially the fourth one takes place after the previous 3 and it's a little bit different, so to get the full picture I think you should read it from the first going on. In this book we're gonna follow Liam and Sophie, and I loved it. Yes, not as much as the first one. I guess that in this book we have Liam who's like hiding a lot from the public and also from, let's say, his friend. Is not really that open-hearted man, I would say. He decided that it wasn't worth to suffer so much through life, trying to get real friendships without suffering. It wasn't worth most of all to fall in love, because you've seen what happened to his brother, because the book starts really, really with a dramatic moment, which sadly I would say that it would have been better if it would have been a little bit more on, because what happened, it's a sad thing, but it doesn't, it didn't hit me that much. Maybe because I still didn't know Liam and I didn't know the other characters, probably if there would have been more chapters before to get to know a little bit Liam and his brother and his brother's wife, then maybe everything would have been better. But I understand giving priority to the story after that. What he doesn't know is that Sophie will have such a big impact on him. And I definitely loved to see this because she is the daughter of somebody that works for Bandini while he works for another team, so they're quite of rivals. And everything that goes on from there, it's interesting to read. I think that we've definitely seen Liam growing from being somebody who just wanted to have the best contract and win every single time, even if he knew it was almost impossible because he always had such a rivalry. So with Noah, he's like, I know he's an amazing driver and all, but in this case, I definitely loved him going from that to the Liam that we see at the end, who takes a lot of choices that could make you feel like proud of him because he put something else, or better, somebody else above his career because he's finally realizing what's more important. And I definitely loved it. Sophie on the other side, it's a girl that makes me like smile. She's a planet girl. She has to-do list for everything. And the list is exactly the reason why she finds herself spending so much time with Liam. Definitely, I loved seeing her fighting with herself to finally understand that her passion and what she loves to do and what she wants to do is more important than just making her dad proud. Definitely loved it, 4 stars. Third book and my favorite one, 5 stars. Jax and Elena, or Elena, I don't know how you're gonna pronounce the names, so just take it how I would pronounce them. I'm Italian, so I'll go with that version. I'm sorry. Anyway, I loved this one. I guess that I wasn't expecting it because he's the one that never really got me. Like in the first 2 books, he appears, okay, he's there, but it's not like I was really interested into him or his story. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it, but I wasn't expecting so much. We've met Elena instead in the first, not in the first, in the second book, in the previous one, because she was hired as PR for Liam, and now here she is again. She gets hired again to be the PR, but to work as a PR for Jax, but he doesn't want that. What I loved about it is that he's not like the other drivers. He suffers with anxiety, panic attacks, and so much more. And you're gonna find out why he acts the way he does. And the more you're gonna read this book, the more you're gonna understand why he acts like that. Why he is like that. Why he does the things that he does. And I love that. I loved seeing him fighting with himself because he doesn't want to push away people that he loves, but at the same time he doesn't want to have these people. I think that he's really one that grows throughout the books. He starts going to therapy, not because he wants to, but because he's forced. It was actually Elena's idea, but she's hiding it from him. He thinks it's his boss' idea, like he can't say no, elsewhere his contract is a problem, you know. But I loved to see him starting it by, I'm just gonna sit here and I'm not gonna talk, to actually find it helpful. I love to see him going through everything, and I for sure loved to see Elena's story. Like, I think that they both had probably the strongest background compared to the others. Elena is the one that gave me like a big boom, because she's the one who's there without her parents, with the responsibility of her grandma, who doesn't even recognize her anymore. And she's literally alone. Like, she doesn't have that background support system, but not because, just like, for example, for Noah, they've been mean toward her, they're hard to her or something like that, but because she lost them. And it's just, I don't know, it made me feel so much for this woman. So much. A lady that decided to accept the job only because she actually really needed the money. And this is probably what I didn't want to forget, Jax, is his actions at a certain point of the book when he finds out something that he never wanted to find out. and he thinks that the best thing to do is to push her away, but to do that he doesn't think about the world consequences of it. He's like, I'm just gonna make sure that she's gonna get pushed away. If they're gonna fire her, she's not gonna be around me 24 hours a day, and we're all gonna be happier. I'm gonna save her from everything, and I'm gonna just try to stick to whatever I have to do. But he doesn't think even for 2 seconds about what that would mean for her. And we're not talking about what breaking her heart would mean, but her losing that contract. And the reason why I got so mad is because he knew exactly how much that contract was important for her. He knew it. And I was so mad with him in the moment, but I really loved it, his book. It was, according to me, was a little bit on a deeper level compared to the previous two. Loved it, absolutely, 5 stars. And then it was time to end the month with the last book of the series, and it was the one about Santiago. And well, 3 stars and a half. I'm gonna be completely honest, I wasn't really in the mood to read about his story because I just can't stand him. Like, he did nothing to make me like him. Nothing at all. While he made everything to make me not like him. Let's say it. This time we're gonna follow Santiago and Chloe's story, and I like her. I have nothing against her. I even felt a lot for this poor girl. But him? No. Let's say that I can't tell you what pissed me off the most. If Santiago thinking that what happened only touched him, if he's the only one that's suffering from something, I don't know. I think he really needed that wake-up call that Noah gave to him when he and his sister showed up because okay, I'm trying to think how to say everything I have to say without spoiling something, because whatever I want to say, it's of course a spoiler for the first book in part. But let's say it this way, that when Noah and Maya showed up, she's dealing with something big. And if it wouldn't be for Noah taking Santiago apart and making things clear with him, he wouldn't get it. Like, he's thinking that just because his sister is smiling in videos or when she's around, she's perfectly fine. She's not dealing with anything. And I loved the fact that Noah took him aside and explained it to him. And then the moment he realized that, oh, could I not notice it? Well, you know, you cut everybody out. You decided after what happened to you to just go in Italy and close yourself in your private place. And that's it. I was just like pissed off with him all the time. Because I was like, also throughout the story, the more I was getting to know Chloe, the more I was finding out things and details about her life, the more I was like, how can you now feel like you can play the big victim card? What happened to you was bad, devastating, I understand. You should have followed more therapy, you know, because on your own it's crystal clear you're going nowhere. But you've had a support system. You've had Noah and Maya that have been there for you. I mean, that poor man was trying really hard in every possible way to get you back to, let's say, give you a chance to go back and drive again in Formula 1. And you just didn't care. You had your parents that were worried like crazy and all. While in front of you, you have this girl who grew up with nothing if not an abusive mother. A mother that only knew about alcohol and drugs and things like that. A mother that showed up at their own daughter's birthday just to steal her money. Like, do you notice the difference? Like, I'm not justifying what happened to you. I'm not saying you deserved it. But I'm also trying to tell you, don't you see the good part of your life while others are struggling this much? Anyway, this was the one that I liked the last in the whole series, and it was a 3 stars and a half for me. So these are the books that I've read in August. As always, thank you so much for your support, for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, remember to give it a thumb up and to subscribe for more videos like this one. Let me know with a comment if you've read these books or not. Thank you so much and see you next time. Bye!